I share this video? There's nobody there.
Yep, just copy it over and we're
This
live.
isn't the link to copy. This is from my studio. I'm trying to find a link. Okay. I have to go in here for a second. See? We've got all the people waiting. Hello. Sorry, that was insanely frustrating. I was trying to be all funny with my Halloween setup and...
The new microphone, how do we sound? Do we sound okay? The new microphone was the issue. We had to switch over from the old microphone.
The issue was that I scheduled it using old stuff. Yeah. YouTube is terrible for live streaming, by the way. I don't know why it's used so frequently. I guess only because people can monetize it. But you have no control over the back end. It's so frustrating.
It just changes around. Yay!
Just wait a minute. We had 5 people in the other thing waiting, so...
We can see the new mic. Right here.
I'm cranky because I put all this work into scheduling this, and YouTube is just annoying and not user-friendly in the slightest.
We got it working.
It's so frustrating. Halloween! I was all excited. Now I'm not.
Pumpkins.
The link won't work for anybody that we sent it to.
I'll wear the hat. Take that, Halloween. They're like earrings.
Oh my god. All right. So, I don't know. You start us off. I'm in a mood now.
We had so much fun on the weekend. We trained some people. We went out and I had a Halloween photo shoot. And I just actually finished up the video. Raina still hasn't even seen it yet. I just finished editing it. It is hilarious. And we've got some other surprises for Halloween we're going to have done at the same time. So I've been editing nonstop, crazy edit mode. And we got a bunch of stuff on the go. We're going to be doing some more things. I'm actually helping with some more filming tomorrow, just some consulting stuff just to help them out. And we're doing little things on the side and having fun. And Halloween's coming up fast. It's like less than 2 weeks away. So...
yeah, Esme is asking about getting the Paradise Beta Mermaid tail. I have a whole review on it. It's one of my favorite Mertailor tails. If you check my review playlist, it's in there, and it's like my favorite Mertailor tail ever or something like that. So yeah, I recommend it. But if you want to see what it looks like in action, you can go check out that review. So yeah, if you're just joining us, the technical difficulties is because YouTube is really, when you schedule a video, you have to predict what your settings are going to be in advance and put them in, and they lock the settings in. So if you end up changing them between the time you schedule it and when you actually go live, it doesn't work.
Won't let you change it.
And once your video is live, if your mic is not connected or your video is not connected, it doesn't let you connect it. Like, you can't just stop the video and fix it, or like on Facebook where you just fix it and you don't lose anything. Like, it just doesn't work. So I was very frustrated.
YouTube has a history of having some issues with some of its apps.
But we're trying to do more YouTube live streams because we get to connect with our YouTube fans. We do a lot of Facebook stuff, we do a lot of Instagram stuff, and this way we get to connect with our Facebook fans.
More fun.
So yeah, Sean was saying that we I think you need this too. There you go.
Of course. Yeah, we love Mimi as well there, Dakota. I can't wait for you to see the video I made today. It is so funny. And I've got a bunch of other blooper ones I'm going to do too, so it should be really good.
Remember, if you're going to answer someone, quote, because when people watch the video later, they won't have access to the chat.
Yes.
That way they get the
We did a Halloween photo shoot.
So before we did the Halloween photo shoot, it's been a couple weeks since we have done a video, a live stream video. We had Canadian Thanksgiving, which is lovely and my absolute favorite holiday, because it's food and no worrying about presents, and that's all we have to do. It's great stuff. And let's see, what else did we do before we get to that? I was going to show them my pieces that I tested out. I'll grab those in a minute. Okay. So on Saturday we were up at 6 a.m. to consult on a film for our director from our documentary, Kevin. He is working on some stuff with I don't want to say too much to spoil it, but it's like a combat artist. So somebody who would like choreograph fight scenes and stuff in movies. Action movie. So he's working on an action movie that has a short mermaid sequence. So yeah, we decided to help him with that, and it was pretty cool, except for the getting up at 6 a.m. part on a Saturday. I taught an actress, and I have like a method when I'm teaching someone who's brand new to mermaid swimming and to help them feel comfortable underwater. Sean's going to go do some consulting on Tuesday while I'm at work. Next weekend, I have to do a first aid course, and then after the first aid course, we're going to head to set and help safety the person in the water and get the costume over a wetsuit and all that kind of stuff just to make sure they're warm, because they're actually going to shoot it in a lake. It's not going to be underwater footage. They're just looking for a very specific shot above with a very specific camera technique. So yeah, I got to keep the actress safe and warm and mermaidy, so it should be good. Sean and I have ended up doing a lot of consulting over the years just because not many are into underwater performance or underwater videography like we are in Nova Scotia. And I'd say that we're actually fairly amateur. It's just that there's nobody really here that does this kind of thing. So we end up doing it a lot.
We have a lot of experience just doing weird things, and people tend to bring us into projects because of that. And it's more of the creative side. I mean, safety is always number one.
And we tend to be really good at problem solving. Like when they want to get a specific shot, like we can envision it because we just think about how we would physically do it ourselves. And I think sometimes like studios and stuff that get hired to help out with that stuff don't think on that micro level and run into a lot of issues, and costs go up. And with us, it's just like, oh, okay, well, we can just do this, and then this is how this will work. And it's like, wow. So yeah, we had like a session where we trained this actress, and then we had breakfast with Kevin where we just tried to problem solve some of these things, and we solved all the problems we think, and it should be good. How are we sounding? Because this is a new mic, I'm just very curious. It's got a condenser built in, and it's supposed to be really good for vlogging and podcasting. So let us know. Ollie's usually pretty good at letting us know the differences they all sound with in between everything. So
nice.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Who sounds better, Raina or me?
Anyway, moving on.
I look better.
I'm the kind of person, and Mimi is the exact same way, that when we have like our hopes set on something and then like something stupid happens to like mess it up, both of us, it throws us off kilter really bad.
Doesn't throw me off at all.
That's what happened to me. I just like,
it actually doesn't bother me one bit.
I had my vision for this video, and I am so mad that I shared this link everywhere and was like, hey, come watch our video, and then I had to make a new link. I clicked on it and it didn't work. I don't know what happened. Oh, I'm just so annoyed. So I have to get myself out of this headspace. I just it's so annoying. If you join our Patreon before the end of October, even at the $2 level, we're going to have a group viewing of Beetlejuice. I get these licenses so that I can do small group online film viewing. And it can't be past a certain number, but because of the way we have Patreon set up, it won't. So we still have space for more people. And we're going to watch Beetlejuice, one-time viewing of Beetlejuice, and we're going to chat in the Discord if you want to join us. Usually we monthly watch a mermaid movie, but we decided for Halloween, because we already did She Creature, which is the spooky B-rated one. We decided to do something traditionally Halloween-y. And the connection between Mermaids and Beetlejuice is that Robert Short, who did the Splash Tail and is just famous special effects artist who won an Oscar for E.T. He actually did a bunch of the scenes in Beetlejuice. So I'm going to be talking about that in the chat when we watch it. So if you remember the famous hand scene and the banana song, he did that and told us like all of the behind the scenes of how that was made. So we're going to talk about that, which should be really fun. So yeah, so that'll be cool. So there is sort of a little connection with Mermaids there, just in terms of that. And of course, my Winona Ryder did that movie called Mermaids with Cher. And that was a good movie. Nothing to do with mermaids except for the costume, but hey, it's still mermaids. Yeah, so we're going to do that on Friday, and over the winter, we're going to start just playing some Jackbox games and Scribble and stuff like that. So if you want to join Patreon, and of course, if you join Patreon, it's full of all of the good merfolk resources and behind the scenes and just anecdotes and stuff like that, stuff that you can print out, contracts, all that kind of good stuff to help you have a mermaid business and keep pushing the bar higher, right? We want to help everybody during COVID and keep people prepared. The cat is going for it. Sean has little, like those jelly stickers you can get for your window for all the different holidays. He's got Halloween ones everywhere, and Charlie is obsessed with
He's
eating
gonna
them.
steal one right now.
He's stealing it right now. He is obsessed with eating them.
I got him.
If you're up, do you want to go grab a set of those silicone things from my bathroom? They're hanging on the
Sure. Here, I'll put Charlie here first.
Okay.
Oh, I'm bumping people. I'll be right back.
Come here, little dude.
What am I grabbing?
The silicone pieces
In your bathroom.
that are hanging on the towel rack. Hello. Why do you keep eating the bats? Oh, he's all ashamed. Why do you keep eating the bats? Charlie is he was found abandoned in an oil refinery, and we call him Charlie because he has a little black nose that looks like Charlie Chaplin's mustache. But I've started calling him after every famous Charles. So he's like Charlie Chaplin Xavier Brown, because Brown was my maiden name.
And he keeps eating these.
Oh, look, he's very excited about that.
Look at that. Look at his face. Look at his face.
He just started heavy breathing.
Oh.
Give it to me, Dad. Give it, Dad. Give it. It's mine.
He loves these. Oh, see what he does. I'm gonna run away. Here, I'll leave this.
Go get him, Charlie. We have 3 cats. All 3 are rescues. A lot of you are familiar with Pinky, the white and deaf, cranky, fat cat. One who never makes it into pictures or videos is Luna. Oh, you brought 3 back.
Yeah, I brought lots.
So there's one more there. Yeah, Luna is she is all black and a bit more skittish, so she's harder to get on pictures, but we call her the fruit bat because she gets up on her hind legs and she squeaks for fruit, and we give her fruit, and she's got a long face like a fruit bat.
Yep.
So it's very cute. So it's going to show you the prosthetic pieces from Haunted Sfx that I got to test out. So they are, it's kind of hard to see the details, but they're just very, very soft. Like if I pull them, that you can see through them. They're very soft silicone that is meant to be affixed to your skin with silicone glue, and it's got the scales in it. And I learned something about prosthetic glue. You can go get the cat. So when you're going to stick a silicone prosthetic on you, latex glues and water-soluble glues aren't going to work because silicone can create a lot of heat and can melt those glues. So spirit gum doesn't work, and other glues don't work. You have to have a specific silicone glue, and the way silicone glue works with these pieces is it's contact bond. So you actually put it on both you and the piece, and you let it fully dry until it's clear, and then once it's dry you can slop it on. The problem I've found since trying these out is that I can't get the glue off. I've tried a few removers, and one of my friends who works in the field suggested using like acetone, like nail polish remover, and I can't, that's not even working, and apparently that's like really strong. So I have a lot of glue residue stuck on these. And glitter ended up in the glue. So if you saw some of my pictures, and we're going to have more videos about it, but I took these out for a tester, and they're kind of difficult, to be honest. So you put it on the breast in 2 pieces, and it's supposed to be like this little piece. Is that the way it goes? Yeah, this little piece at the bottom.
You put in a pumpkin.
And this big piece at the top. And so the big piece, like, is supposed to fold over. So I've decided that next time I do it, Sean will have to put them on for me because, and I'm sure he'll have no obligations to that. There we go. The little piece goes at the bottom. Big piece goes at the top. You kind of work it so that your seam is okay. You're going to be distracted by this the whole time.
I stopped him from the other one.
So yeah, anyway, once it's all glued down, it would be like this, right? So, and theoretically, yes, I can swim in them. I haven't tested it yet because the first glue I tried, it actually also melted during being in the sun, like sweating and stuff like that. So I ordered another one that's supposed to work. It's what they use in the film industry to keep them on in the water. So I'm going to test that out once I get this glue residue off. And when a pool becomes available, because the pools here have so few booking availability that we haven't been able to plan anything. We finished the set that we had, and that's it. Like, we have no more pool time. Did you just stop wrangling the cats? It's so distracting trying to focus when you do that.
It's my other pumpkin, Pinky.
Yeah, I'm your pumpkin head. These are my seal. No, not seal. What were these? Eel pants. My eel pants that I made for my clothing line. Yeah, so that's those. They turned out pretty cool. I also tried contacts for the first time, colored contacts, and I loved how they looked. I hated how they felt. I have very naturally dry eyes, and they just dried my eyes out even worse. And I got some tips on trying to avoid that, and so the second time I wore them, it was a lot better. But holy cow, I suck at putting them in, so kudos to all you folks out there. Kudos to all you folks out there who wear colored contacts or even just regular prescription contacts on a regular basis, because that is some creepy stuff. You want Halloween horror? Watch Raina trying to put them in. It's a lot of F-bombs and cursing and poking myself in the eye.
It did look amazing.
But it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, it just took you like 45 minutes the first time you put them in, and after that, you got really good at it.
Yeah,
it looks great.
Tricky. So I've got the Finfolk Mythic here. I thought I'd show a little bit of. Obviously, we'll do some like full videos, but I just got it back last week from Allison, Mermaid Nova, who did all of the updates to it for us. So I was going to show you some of the updates. A lot of people don't realize the tail makes noise when you move it. Clickety clack. Some people don't like that. They actually got rid of them because it's not a quiet tail.
It looks so good in the sun. So sparkly.
You hear that?
You're going to get the ASMR folks with that.
Yeah. And Pinky. Okay, so this is an extra small tall, and I am usually an 8 to 10, and the extra small fit me because it's made of neoprene on the inside. This is wetsuit material, so it's very, very stretchy, and I actually think that this is neoprene and not neoprene because it just keeps stretching, so it keeps getting bigger, which is usually a sign of that, and neoprene is a spacer material. So there's been a lot of kinks in Finfolk trying to make these over the years, and it's evolved a lot. So don't necessarily judge this tail against their current stuff, because they've really been making an effort to evolve. And like, first, this is a second gen, I think.
Yeah, and the liner on this used to be in there.
There used to be a black liner in here that we took out, so that was one of the first things that Allison did for us. Also patched a lot of holes, as you can see here.
It was used.
Restrung a bunch of these scales. They're all individual resin scales, and then put some glue on the back knots, because the way these were originally made, each line was like one singular string. So if you lost a scale, there's no knots or anything. Like, you're just losing all the scales. So Allison fixed that for me, which is pretty cool. Next, they added the Fancy Fish Fashion Beautiful Dorsal Fin, and I think when you buy a dorsal fin from Finfolk, they attach them with Velcro so it's closed. Yeah. But because I'm like putting it on a lot of people, and I actually really like the way it looks in the water when it opens, the downside is then you can see the zipper and the glue. But for what we're doing, I don't think we're going to use it for parties. No. We're just using it for like pictures and stuff. So I think it'll be fine. If we ever do decide we have to use it for a party, maybe because, you know, that's the only one that'll fit somebody, I'll probably just add the Velcro. Yep. So Fancy Fish Fashions made these, and they weren't expensive at all, which is really nice.
That was really good.
And the heel fins too, which Mermaid Nova put on for me, and those look really nice. Spousal abuse.
I'm good at avoiding it.
It doesn't have the best monofin in it. I think back in the day you could upgrade to like the shooter maybe, but this one just has the wave. No, not even the wave. This has the foil, which is really small. So it's cool. And it's just 2 foot pockets, just like every other tail out there. It's just, you know, it's the same thing on the inside for silicone as it is for fabric tail. You've got your 2 foot pockets and you just put your feet in one at a time. And this has a zipper down the back so that you can slide it in. But if it was fabric, you would be able to stretch it over your body. If it was silicone, it'd be a bit harder. You'd have to lube up your legs and really squeeze them in one at a time. It takes a while. It can feel claustrophobic sometimes for people the first time they put mermaid tails on, because it's just a very strange sensation of having both of your legs bound that way and then not being able to take them out. And just some people aren't used to the pressure. So the finfolk tail looks really beautiful in the water, and this is like a musical instrument. It's got a silicone fluke, neoprene body with the resin scales. So I did a bunch of practice with it, and I think what we're going to do is actually sew or glue in some pockets in the spots that are baggier on me, so that when I'm going to put it on, we can put some weights in those pockets, and then I can weigh down. Normally, I've gotten really good because I took a course with Brett Stanley a year ago today. Actually, a year ago today, we rescued baby turtles, which was great.
You did.
So a year ago, I was in Mexico on this workshop with Brett Stanley, where he taught me really great techniques for sinking, which I have now passed on to my team. We've got Dakota, aka Mero Atlas, in the chat here, who is one of my new team members, who started out a little floaty and is now sinking like a champ. So they everybody's doing really good, and I was really doing well as well. But then when I started to get into this tail, because it's so buoyant, because of the neoprene, it's like wetsuit material, I was having a lot of trouble sinking and a lot of drag. So so far it's just been fun. But if I want it to like be better performance wise, I'm gonna have to put some weights in it. And if I want to use it in the tank, I'm gonna have to put some weights. So rather than just chuck some weights in there and float them around, I think we're gonna actually put some designated pockets and put the weights inside. Yeah. So I see Jasmine has asked a few times for resources for new mermaids. I have tons right here on YouTube. If you go to my playlist that is called So You Want to Be a Mermaid, you can start with video number 1, and they go on for years and years. You can also find lots of resources on my website, mermaidreina.com. There's a blog there that has a free safety course that you can take. It doesn't cost any money. You can take it. And there's also a bunch of blogs that are helpful there. And then if you want one-on-one mentoring or even more specific resources, you can join our Patreon. So there's just like too many things for me to say in a live stream about starting out being a mermaid. But I've been making videos for years specifically to help new people, whether you're recreation or looking to do it as a job. So definitely check out that playlist, So You Want to Be a Mermaid. If you're watching this after the live stream, I'll put it as an end card. So anyway, that's the finfolk tail. Was anybody surprised by the sound, or was it obvious to people? So I see that Mermaid Nail is saying that they had problems with sinking as well. And it's an extremely common problem, especially depending on the tail that you're using.
In the water.
And the water that you're in, whether it's salt water, fresh water. Like, don't feel like any less of a mermaid or merman or merfolk because you can't sink. Lenny from Mexico is saying hi. Hi, Lenny. We were in Mexico a year ago.
Loved it.
Hola. We really miss it. It was wonderful. We hope to come back again. And if we go back again, maybe you can come say hi and have a swim with us, huh? You want to get into being a merfolk too? This is definitely the channel to be. We'll help you with all that. Now, how do I say your name properly? Mermaid Afrolila? You have to correct me. Can you spell it out in parentheses so that I can say it properly? Thank you for the compliment on my hair. It is really bleached at the bottom from being in the pool. Lila, I got it. Nice. And my roots are coming in, so on the 30th I'm going to get it done. But I'm going green, but not like bright green like this, like Lady Gaga green. If you've seen her new video 911, it's like a pastel green, and cool. She has a few like orange stripes through it, and that's what I'm going to do next. Yeah, because we haven't been in the pool, I've been having fun with my hair, but it has cost me a bit of the length because every time I go, they trim off a little bit of these scraggly dead bits, and I was trying to get mermaid hair that covered everything. That was gonna be the plan.
I'm gonna beat you to it at this point.
Yeah, look at this guy's hair.
It's getting longer. You can't really see it because I'm wearing Halloween stuff today.
So yesterday, we're going to have a bunch of videos on this for you. But we did our first really big team photo shoot in years. We have a team of 15 or 16, I think. And it's really difficult to get everyone together. So usually we just have however many we can conveniently get together. So we had 8 merfolk. And for group limits, the most people we can have with COVID right now is 10. So 8 out of 10 was good. And just a disclaimer that Nova Scotia, where we live, is consistently having little to no cases. So that's why we're allowed to actually gather that way. I don't want people to think that my team and I are gathering during a pandemic.
Like, we still space accordingly.
Yeah,
anyway.
we follow all the rules, and the only reason that we get to do these things is because we've been able to keep cases low by having mandatory quarantine, mandatory masks, mandatory distancing, all that stuff. So it's all working for us because we frequently have no cases, and it's awesome. I think right now we have 6 active cases in our entire province, and those 6 people are all people who traveled into the province and quarantined, so they didn't spread it to anybody. And
I'm wearing a mask right now.
No, that's not the right mask. So anyway, this photo shoot. So, okay, so first, a few weeks ago, Sean and I went to test out using smoke bombs. We did all the research for it online. We went to the Army Navy surplus store. We asked them all our questions. We bought the smallest ones they had. We bought heat-safe containers to launch them from. I even asked the guy, like, should I get a fire extinguisher because I don't want to set the woods on fire, like with these smoke bombs.
No, it poured rain the day before, so it was actually pretty.
But I was
pretty
thinking of that gender reveal in California. The smoke bomb caused that entire fire, right?
Did.
So there was no fire ban, and we talked all about safety, and we went just to do a test. So the test went great, except for the fact that the smoke bombs lasted like 10 seconds. They were
the small ones.
They were supposed to last 30 seconds. They lasted 10, and they were small. So it looked like I was like farting colors. Like it just like the way that it was lined up with my body. It was like, here's a yellow fart, here's a green fart, here's a purple fart. And I was too scared to hold it in my hand. They told us at the Army Navy store that you shouldn't hold it in your hand because it sparks and it gets hot. So Sean was launching it and running away. For those who joined, I just explained all my Finfolk mythic tale, and it's an old generation one. So if you watch the start of the live stream later, you'll get all that info. So just back to the smoke bomb story. So we did our test. We learned a lot from it, and we're like, okay, we think we can do this with our team. So we picked another day where it was after rain. We went later in the day. We had 8 merfolk, and we wanted to do this theme. So everyone's going to have a mask, everyone's going to have a cape, and everyone's going to have their tail. And so we tried to position 8 merfolk, and then it was like, okay, when we use the small smoke bombs, they didn't produce a lot of smoke. So let's use 3 big ones and 1 small one and see what we get. And Sean was across this river that normally you could hop across the rocks to get to the other side, but because of all this rain, it actually turned into rapids. So we couldn't walk across rapids, like it was deep. Sean had to go way down this road and around and up a bridge and then back up into the woods with Mermaid
It's a super
Novas.
cool spot too because it's actually an old sawmill, and it had this beautiful 150-year-old rock dam that used to be across it. And it blew out, so all the rocks are scattered, but you can still see the rest of the dam. And it's the coolest little cove, like, just amazing. So there's a ton of history there. We're just so lucky to have spots like this to shoot in. But,
yeah. So anyway, Sean and Mermaid Nova's husband are on the other side, and they've got like 10 cameras set up to try to get this from every angle. We can't hear them at all. The water is rushing. We have a couple other folks, significant others with their babies and children, toddlers and stuff, like just off to the side, because we have too big a group, so they can't be close to us, but also we don't want the kids around smoke, right? So they've got their hands full. They're not able to help. So we're like, okay, the mermaids, while we're seated in our pose, are gonna have to pull these smoke bombs and toss them behind us. And now normally they would be used for military drills, parachuting, and paintball, that kind of thing, right? And people use them all the time for photography, just, in a safe way. It looks cool. So we do the first one, and we launch 3 big ones behind us, and I put one small yellow one in front of me. And we are just completely enveloped in smoke.
So much smoke.
There's no mermaids, and the smoke stinks. It smells like sulfur.
Yeah.
We're trying not to get it too close to us because it stinks and it's hot, and also because it stains clothing.
Yep.
Me being the bright person I am, I put that small one right down by my fluke, and it's shooting yellow all over my fluke. So for the whole shoot, I look like I peed myself. And it's also shooting like ashes. So those are like getting into the white of my tail, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh no. I have really good stain remover though. I haven't looked at it. Did you look at it when
It
you
seems
took it to the
okay.
washer?
Yeah, it seems okay.
So everyone's dying in smoke, and Sean is laughing and trying to take pictures and video. And actually, once the smoke does start to dissipate, there's still a fair amount of it there, but then we're kind of emerging from this colorful fog, and it does look really cool. So in my head, I had us all wearing masks to be like witchy, spooky, mysterious, and instead we all just look like superheroes. Like we literally just look like superheroes. Like we're just like 8 merfolk superheroes.
It was
Just
cute.
like actually, like Nessie and Atlantica were sitting up a little higher than us, and they were like giggling at each other. And when we looked at the pictures, I said, "Hey, Sean, there's Batman and Robin."
Yeah.
Like,
And it's funny too because they were out of the smoke for most of it, so they're just laughing at everybody else who's basically covered in it.
so it's pandemonium for a little bit and chaos. The pumpkins, like people are knocking over the pumpkins, and
Yep.
they're going down the river.
We had a good half dozen of these or more or whatever, and throughout the entire shoot, all you see is basically tails like boop, boop, and then boop,
And they're real pumpkins, so it's not pollution,
into
right?
the river, and they're just bobbing down the river
But
all of a
pollution
sudden.
is the other thing. When you pull these things apart, there's like a shell and a wick, and so I'm trying in between things to collect all these pieces. Like this is a lovely location that we always go to for photos. I definitely don't want to trash it.
No.
And then I'm trying to boss the mermaids around and get everyone's attention. And then there's people, because it's a public like area. It's in the woods, but there's a trail, so there's people who keep wandering into the trail, and we don't want to launch these when there's people there. And we're doing these big colorful smoke things, but we're trying to be discreet about it as well, because we don't want to like, alarm
Scare
the
anybody.
neighbors,
Yeah.
make anyone think there's a weird fire going on.
We were
or
chatting with them
something.
before, and they seemed pretty cool, but at the same time, you don't want to scare them. You
Yeah.
want to come back again.
So I was getting a little stressed out, and it was cold. It was like 7 degrees Celsius. So I was wearing neoprene wetsuit pants inside my tail, and everyone's trying to keep warm. And we're getting wet because the rapids are so fast that they're splashing us. And anyway, it was a learning experience. We did the group photos, which I don't want to say they bombed, like smoke bomb.
It was
Just difficult, and I didn't really achieve what I envisioned, but we learned so much from it. We still got some halfway decent photos.
some people were in the shade, some people were in total sunlight. The smoke was crazy, so the
We needed
color variance
more people
was
with
massive.
legs. We needed
Yeah.
more people with legs
Yeah.
to like manage the smoke bombs.
Yep.
And we needed to be on an overcast day because the sun coming through the leaves. But when you're trying to schedule 8 people in Nova Scotia,
it's
where the
rough.
weather changes whenever it wants, it's really difficult to be like, well, let's just wait and see what the weather's like, right? You kind of have to take your shot.
At least it wasn't raining.
So we did take individual photos of everybody though, and some of our new merfolk got some coaching on modeling, and they looked really nice. That all looked good. And then after everyone started leaving and cleaning up, Mermaid Mimi decided, because Mermaid Mimi is just like,
She doesn't feel cold.
She doesn't feel cold ever. This is the woman who swims in March on St. Patrick's Day, and we have pictures of
With
her.
the ice. Yeah.
We have pictures of her on ice floes. It's like, here's a little mini iceberg, and Mimi's sitting on it with no wetsuit, or just like she's just in her tail. Like, she's not bothered by the cold. She loves cold water swimming.
Doesn't affect her at all.
So she rolls over into the rapids, and they start taking her. And between Sean and I, they were like, "Oh no!
I
Like,
got
are
in slow motion of her.
Are we gonna have to
slowly
jump
falling
in
and then
and save Mimi from
she
these
crawled
rapids?"
back up. Yeah.
So anyway, she's laughing the whole time. So I'm like, I think she's okay. But she grabbed onto a rock and she pulled herself back up, and she
lives pretty nearby, so she'd probably just float home.
She just float home, right?
Yeah.
And the rapids themselves, like you could stand in any of them. It's just that they're so fast, right, that you can't. So anyway, once she did that, though, And then we're leaving and we pack everything up. She's like, I think I'm going to go for a swim. And I'm like, what? So she walks upstream to a stiller area and she gets in. And then Meryl Atlas, Dakota, who's in the chat here, decides that they're going to get in too. Yep. So we've got Dakota and Mimi in this river while I'm wearing literal wetsuit and sweatshirt and thermal socks and underwear and like wrapping myself in a blanket because it's so cold. It's 7 degrees Celsius, which means the water was probably 3 or 4 degrees Celsius. Mimi's like putting her face in it and blowing bubbles, and she's like, Raina, it's good for you. And I'm like, how is it good for me? And she's like, it's good for your soul.
It's not wrong. It's just cold.
So anyway, it was wild. So it was several hours of this photo shoot, and we had a lot of fun. And afterwards, Mimi knows that we had been trying to have a baby, and she and her husband were really supportive of us back when we were pregnant and when we had the miscarriage. She was the first person after Sean that I told when I was pregnant, because when she had been pregnant with Aria, she told me right after she told her husband, because she was doing mermaid gigs and she had a high-risk pregnancy, so she wasn't going to be able to do them anymore. So she told me before the 3-month mark. So I had told her too, so she was present for everything. She gave us gifts, like, as soon as we told her. She gave me, like, body butter and stuff. It was so cute.
She's so cute.
So anyway, she really, we want to be parents, but I think Mimi wants us to be parents even more than we want to be parents.
She's really into it.
She really wants us to be parents. So she did a little ceremony with a fertility jug. So it's like this sculpted jug with 2 spouts on both ends, and she like put a concoction to drink in it, and it's got like fertility symbols on it, and we had to drink it at the same time from the 2 spouts, so we had to like drink it
and not spill any
and Sean was like, here.
Go.
And I'm like, no, we have to do it together. And he's like, here, you get it.
Go. I was worried about you because I wasn't going to spill it. I think you were. So. And we did fine. It was perfectly fine.
We did it. You're supposed to drink alcohol from it, but I'm not drinking alcohol
and
right
I don't
now.
Drink alcohol
and he
anymore,
doesn't drink either. He doesn't drink, like, as a rule. He's not interested. But I'm not a huge drinker, but I do go through periods of time where I'm like, I'm just not going to drink because I have inflammation problems and it makes them worse. So I just take breaks.
I'm just practical, and I think like I could spend money on something else.
Yeah. When I buy like 3 bottles of wine in a weekend.
Everyone's their own person, so.
Yeah. Anyway, we did that, and that was pretty funny. So so coming up, we're working on this film. We've got tons of videos we're editing. I have a lot of reviews that I have to get caught up on. We have no pool bookings at the moment because everything's just been totally filled because of COVID. Mm-hmm. So they're only letting groups of 10.
They're monitoring the situation.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that it's back to school and things are picking up, and we all have to be extra cautious. So that's fine.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get in the pool. Next month is my birthday. I'm going to be 35. I can't believe that. Next month is my birthday, and I'm hoping that I can have a team swim on my birthday. That would be nice. It's also the American election. It was so
I think
exhausting.
That's coming up. I don't know if anyone noticed, but it's coming up. Yeah.
I am so exhausted from this, and I'm not even American, so I don't. If you're American right now, like, my heart is going out to you because it is strange times we live in. Here in Nova Scotia, we've been having our own issue. So I know, like, in the States, Black Lives Matter has been a big movement, and that's a movement in Canada. I wouldn't say it's as big as in the States. It's more in the populated areas like Toronto and stuff where it's big.
And we are doing similar where we're trying to also do our part, but it's not to the scope or scale. Yeah, for sure.
It's just different. Racism is absolutely real and alive and happens, but Canadians are a little more secret, not even secretive, but like passive about it.
We're actually pretty passive about it.
So it's kind of different. So anyway, where we do have an issue is how Native people are treated. And in Nova Scotia, the main Native group are the Mi'kmaq. Mm-hmm. And I have many Mi'kmaq friends. We used to employ a Mi'kmaq mermaid. And one of our mermaids right now is Hilsik, which is a Vancouver tribe. So Marie Twala, who moved here, she's Hilsik. And she's been learning the language, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So right now there's this huge issue going on because 21 years ago, the Mi'kmaq were awarded by the government the right to hunt and fish all season round. And they didn't always practice that right because of the general societal view that that was a bad thing and the kind of treatment they would get as a result of that. So recently they decided that they would exercise their treaty right to fish lobster out of season, and they were awarded a very, very, very small amount of licenses to do so. And what this means is that their total amount of licenses is actually less than one commercial fishing boat's licenses. So it's like, this is the amount that the Mi'kmaq can get off season. This is the amount that the commercial people can get all the time.
And they could have done it, years ago when it was first established, and they had every right to. And so now they decided they wanted to, and so they went out and did it.
So the thing is that the Mi'kmaq, we are living right now, and this is taking place on unceded land. That means that they never actually gave up. Like it wasn't like, here's the white flag, you win kind of situation. Right. They never actually gave it up. They worked out these agreements to live, to coexist, and the Mi'kmaq are supposed to have these rights because they lived here first. This is their land. And so people on the surface are trying to spin this like it's a conservation issue. And if you're not educated on it, that kind of makes sense. Like you would think, like, why would you want to fish them out of season? Are their shells hard? Are they mating? Are they big enough? Are they covered in eggs? Like on the surface, that seems like a very valid argument. But most of the people who are protesting against the native fishing rights don't actually care about conservation. They're just using that as their excuse to sort of justify violence and racial slurs and just being racist. And how do I know that they don't care about it? Because here's some of the stuff that has happened. They've gone into the Mi'kmaq's traps and pulled them up and killed the lobsters and broken their traps. So if you care about conservation, why are you killing the lobsters?
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
They've gone into the lobster pounds where the lobsters are held by the Mi'kmaq fishermen and poisoned the lobsters. So again, if they cared about conservation, why would they be doing this? And the big one is that I'm not going to name the company because you can Google it yourself, and there's a bit of a conflict of interest there because I have family who work there, not work there, but work in tandem. Right. There is a company that owns the majority of the seafood industry in Nova Scotia, and that company has been caught commercially illegally fishing 24/7 and like basically breaking all the laws associated with this. And they just pay the fines and keep doing it. So for these commercial fishermen to be like, oh, we care about conservation, it's like, well, why aren't you doing something about this then? Right. So at first, it was just a lot of online talk and people being jerks and being rude and like trying to intimidate the Mi'kmaqs. Then it escalated to damaging their property, setting a van on fire. We have a lot of conservation,
vandalizing and then setting on fire.
Right, we have a lot of conservation issues in Nova Scotia, and yet nobody's like setting vans on fire to protect the bears. Like it's very weird, like it's not conservation. They want people to think that that's what it is. So they set a van on fire. They did all this stuff. Then one night they actually went into the factory and killed all the lobsters and actually trapped 2 Mi'kmaq fishermen in there, which is also illegal. And this entire time, the police and the RCMP have been doing nothing. And because they're doing nothing, it's escalating and escalating and escalating because the people who are against the Mi'kmaq people, they know they can get away with it because nobody's doing anything.
No consequences.
So it did escalate to massive scales. They burned down the factory, which also caused a bunch of power lines and telephone poles to go down. So a lot of Mi'kmaq elders had no way to contact anybody during a pandemic outside their home. They can't call 911, can't get help, can't call neighbors, nothing. So that happened. This building went up in smoke, and millions of dollars worth of equipment is completely gone. The boats have been damaged. One Mi'kmaq man is in hospital, And the police finally did arrest one person, commercial fisherman, who had caused all this, but they essentially went on record on the news saying that it's not their responsibility. They don't see it as their job. So for us, like, this is happening in a location called Digby where we did the Pirate Festival. So we know the people there. We know the Native community there. We were very involved in that community. And as a company that is trying to be role models to children, and we're trying to make sure that everything's representative, and because we work in conservation, we have 3 marine biologists on our team. And I will say, I forgot to say this, but the local aquatics group did a study and said, like, the numbers are not going to be impacted by the Mi'kmaq fishing. And I have an aside to that too. Native people are not idiots. Like, they've been, taking care of their environment their entire generations of since creation. They know how to pick up a lobster and go, oh, this one's too small, I'm going to put it back. This whole thing is called a moderate livelihood because it is meant to be so that the Mi'kmaq can feed their families and earn a very small extra income so that they can help support themselves and sustain themselves and become more self-sustaining, right? So people on the political end get mad. They're like, oh, we shouldn't be giving them financial handouts and blah, 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 but then won't let them do things so they can earn money, right? So, like, it's very this. And as you can imagine, there's just so much racism. And I have personally, like, gotten into wars with people on Facebook, and I have seen some terrifying statements. I've seen people say things like, Charlie, stop it. They don't say that. Charlie, stop. Don't scratch that.
Yeah, it's been just overwhelming how much has happened in just even the past few weeks on this whole subject. And seeing that happen at home, especially after everything's come together and people are trying so hard to try to make things right when it comes to racism and equality, and then to watch something at home happen like this.
We get a little smug. Like, we do get a little smug in Canada because we're not the United States. We do not have a lot of the same issues that are in the United States. Sean and I voted in a municipal election online. It was great. We don't have to deal with the kind of voter suppression that you see there. And I think we were getting a little snobby about our racism, kind of being like, not us personally, but like as a country, like kind of being like, oh yeah, we don't have the same problems here as in the United States.
Everyone's got their own problems though. And I think that this brought it right to the forefront where it's, there's still a lot of issues out there and we can't just sit back and think that this isn't affecting us. It affects us directly and we have to do something about it.
So as the Halifax Mermaid team, we just keep expressing our support for the Mi'kmaq people, support for their treaty rights. We try to educate people. We're trying to empower children. Sometimes we get flack for that. I'm going to tell you right now, like, not every business, it's not always wise to take a stance in politics, but for us, because of the type of company we are, the people we represent, and because people in our community look to us as community leaders, we feel it's really important to speak out about this stuff and offer support. I did write all the applicable government people, and I wrote the RCMP, and I will keep doing that. You need to go get him.
Charlie's attacking the window again. I'll just give it one more second. It's important that we get out, and even if it doesn't affect everyone, and as we saw from chat, not everyone's heard of what we're dealing with here. The point is that you need to stand up when someone needs help, and these groups need help right now. So saying and doing the right thing when it matters is the most important thing that you can do with yourself. The subject's going to change. The people are going to change. What's right and wrong is right in front of you, and your community and what you do is what's the most important thing that you can do with your time is to speak up when it matters.
Yeah.
And right now it matters for us to speak up about this.
And I wanted to share this one little internet meme that I saw that I think speaks volumes. A lot of people say to me, like, Raina, why do you get into arguments on internet comments? You're not going to change that person's mind. And I saw this meme that sums it up perfectly. And it was like, I know I'm not going to change their mind. Can you go get him? It's super distracting. Charlie's just trying to get those stickers off the...
You got one.
Yeah, he looks so proud of himself. I'm losing my train of thought because of that. Okay, so yeah, so people ask me, why do you argue on the internet? Because you're not going to change the minds of people who are racist or bigoted or whatever. And the truth is I know I'm not going to change their mind, but I want the people who are the victims of this stuff to know that other people aren't going to stand for it. So in this instance, I may not be able to change the mind of a commercial fisherman, but I want those Mi'kmaq people to know that I am standing up for them and that what is happening is not okay. And it's the same thing for any other marginalized group. It's never occurred to me to not support marginalized people. Like I don't get caught up in some of the echo chamber stuff that goes on there. So yeah, anyway, I know that was like a big whole thing, but it's really weighing on Sean and I. Like, we're very connected to aquaculture and fishing and everything, and we try to be very connected to the Mi'kmaq people through all the different events we've been working. We've worked many events with Mi'kmaq performers. There's a hilarious video from 2015 of me participating in a Mi'kmaq drum circle in my mermaid tale. And they were singing and playing the Mi'kmaq honor song, and they were inviting me to play the drum, and I'm doing it in my mermaid tale, and I've got a little girl on my lap that I don't even know. She's just like a participant of the event who loves me. And I'm going along, and I'm like, this is great. Sean's going to be able to use this for video. We can make a video about Mi'kmaq. We can make a video about the honor song. And then we get home and we watch the video, and the entire time the little girl is playing with my boobs, and I don't realize it because I'm wearing like a silicone top, and I can't feel that she's playing with like the star pieces. So I couldn't like use it for anything. Like, she's just like, and she's like looking to make sure no one's looking at her while she's like playing with them. And I don't notice because I'm going with the drum. Like, but yeah, and we've donated to different Mi'kmaq charities in the past, and just like I said, in Digby and Pirate Days when we worked that, some of the princesses there were Mi'kmaq, and it was just really cool. And we have a lot of Mi'kmaq clients as well. We've done a lot of gigs for Mi'kmaq families, so yeah, we support Mi'kmaq people, and I really think it's important that wherever you live, you try to make a connection with the Native or Indigenous groups that are there, because they were there first, and you can learn so much from them, and your life can only be made better by forging these connections with other people. So yeah, I think that's good. I can tell there's a little bit of a lag based on the comment replies, so it must be a little slower for them. So anyway, I think we'll talk a little bit about some little things, but that's what I'm segueing to. But we only have about 8 minutes left, so while some questions roll in, we'll chat a little bit more. But now is question time. If you have any questions about anything specific, if I can answer it in a few minutes, I will. If not, I'll tell you where else you can watch it. Morgan is just saying they found a cool way to hang their fantasy fins, and so they'll tag us on a pic on Instagram, which is cool. That's really cool, Morgan. Maybe we can share that with the group in my community feed. We'll be able to share that. So yeah. What else? Like, it's been a while since we've had one of these. So was there anything else? You're working on a scary video?
Yep. Actually, we've got a bunch of Halloween stuff we're going to be coming out within the next 2 weeks. We're just spanning it over 2 weeks. I've been working on a bunch of cool stuff for a bit, and other than just chasing Charlie to keep him away from the windows, stealing all my decorations. But yeah, we got a bunch of cool things on the go, and we'll make a bunch of videos out of what we did yesterday. It was super cool, and I can't wait. Even Raina hasn't seen it. I've only seen the first draft of it, and it should be up within a week or so.
I am trying to teach myself that it's okay if I can't do something perfectly the first time. I wouldn't say that I'm a perfectionist. I'm just the kind of person that once I get an idea in my mind, it's really hard for me to compromise on it. If it, she's such a butterball. If it doesn't work out. So yeah, like, I'm kind of like about the photo shoot, but we'll see what happens.
I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, it was a good experience anyway. Hey, little turkey.
She's very independent, so she doesn't like being held in one spot. She wants to do her own thing. So.
Yeah.
This is my other pumpkin.
Oh, we've been looking at other places to live. I don't know if we're going to move or not, but we've been living in the same apartment for 8 years, and it's really, really crappy apartment. there's a real issue right now with home ownership and rent in Nova Scotia, specifically in Halifax where we live. Homes are selling for like $100,000 above asking price, sometimes more. And rentals are like New York prices in like a place that has 500,000 people, right? Like,
Yeah, who knows? The rental and home owning market is changing so drastically. In some cities it's going down, and ours it's going up. Everywhere is different. So
Heather, I'm not sure what name you're asking us to pronounce.
the
We have. I didn't
Yeah.
think we were saying a
it
name.
might just be from lag from earlier.
Yeah, you'll have to
Maybe
write it
from
out.
what you're saying.
I'm not sure.
The date of population, maybe.
So there's just we did a lot of immigration in Halifax, which is awesome.
Oh yeah.
But we didn't have the infrastructure in place housing wise. We're also a big university city, and everyone's moving here because of COVID, because we have little to no cases.
We're
Everybody wants to live here.
We're like the New Zealand of North America. So we have people moving here from all over the place. There are U-Hauls or trailer trucks and things like that. People are just bringing them here and dumping them, and we can't get them out of the province. So they keep building up because everyone's moving here and no one wants to move out of the province.
So it's been really, really hard to try to find a place to live, and we really do need to find one because the apartment we live in is a dump, and they keep putting the rates up without fixing anything. And we would really like to have a permanent set up, so like dedicate a room or even just like half of a room, so that when we do our videos, you know, we've got some plants, we have a nice background, maybe like, I don't know, a shelving, like things like that. So Heather, the native group are the Mi'kmaq, also called Micmac. You might have heard you have them in America too, bordering Canada in those states. So people more commonly say Micmac, but Mi'kmaq is like
that's the
plural.
Yeah.
Mi'kmaq. Yeah. Okay, so a couple questions. What's your Halloween costume? I don't have a Halloween costume this year.
I dressed up as a mermaid last year.
I kind of wanted to be Persephone from Lore Olympus because I have pink hair. But by the time Halloween comes around, I'm gonna have the green hair. But don't you think I could make a cool Persephone? I'd have to like wear one of those pink morph suits and then paint my face pink and have the pink hair. And I think he'd make a good Hades. We give him the gray hair and the blue skin. He'd look just like a hot Hades. Persephone.
I like blue. I like the color blue.
So I don't really know. We're going to my best friend Drew's, and we're just going to play some games. So there's only going to be 4 of us. So it's not really much of a Halloween party. So it's just, we're not comfortable doing the big party thing. I'm immune compromised. We're just our friends, you know, just 4 of us. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so a few other comments people are saying here. Morgana says that they've got the myrtle juice in the mail.
That's awesome.
I love that tail.
Yeah.
I don't own it because I'm not sure it's something I would use.
Is that the Mermaid Vlogs lady?
Yeah, Mermaid Vlogs.
So good.
If you check them out on YouTube, they did a video about it, which is really cute.
So good.
Kristen just says that he ordered the clownfish tail from Fin Fun Mermaids. That's awesome.
Oh, cool.
Awesome. You'll like that. Yeah. Kristen was just asking if my newest tail's in the collection beside you. I can't keep track of which ones are new anymore.
Yeah.
We kind of got a couple there over the summer. I don't have a Fantasy 4 skin yet because money has been tight. We had an unexpected $2,000 car payment.
I need the car fixed before winter. Don't want to lose the brakes.
Yeah, that's a thing here, right? Rust is a big thing. Changing your tires from seasonal to winter tires, like that's a big thing.
Yep.
So we
We're
had to.
safe. We're ready for winter now.
It was just unexpected though. Like we knew it was going to be pricey, but not quite that pricey. So the only way I'll be able to afford a Fantasy 4 skin is if we get some good income from the Mertailor code that we put out, the Raina 10, that gets you 10% off Mertailor products. Then we can get a 4 skin.
We'll get something cool for winter.
And we can review it. They have an orca and a narwhal so far, which I love. Spreadsheets for tail info. Ha ha ha. Yes, that's so funny. So that's kind of where we are right now. We'll do another live stream in a couple weeks and check in with people. I'm not really sure what to expect. We kind of had this idea that we might be able to start doing gigs again, but we really don't know. mainly concerned about safety with
Yeah.
everything. Like, I really feel that, at least from what I'm seeing in the US, I'm not saying it's like this where you live, but just what I'm seeing in my own Facebook feed, a lot of people are just acting like there's no virus.
Cases are spiking again right now, and
Mhm.
it's to the point where it looks like it's going to be worse than the first time around. So everybody needs to be safe, and just as safe, if not safer than before.
They're just masks. It's just a mask. It's not
Yep.
the end of the world.
If we all just take care of each other, no one will be sick, and we can just move on.
Yeah.
And before long, we'll be doing normal things again. We just got to take care
Because
of each
I
other.
am totally someone who will die if I get COVID.
Yeah, we're
So
gonna keep you from getting it.
I'm very hesitant to do a lot. This is why I'm not doing a Halloween
we
party or
We don't want
anything.
anyone's parents or grandparents to end up having something bad happen. I mean, lots of kids are okay, but that doesn't mean that everyone in their family is going to be okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to play it safe.
And it's not just about dying, right? Like, you knew, like, last year I got histoplasmosis and I was sick October, November, December, January, February. 5 months. I was exhausted. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep because I was coughing so much. I was pulling muscles and hurting my ribs from coughing. And, like, that's just not a fun way to live.
It
with
doesn't help your
fevers.
breathing. If you want to go swimming and you want to be able to do your best, I mean, that stuff knocks the wind out of you for months. You can't hold your breath.
Like, who
underwater.
has the time to be sick that long?
Right. You just
Even
can't.
if because I hear people say all the time, oh well, it's only fatal for like a small percentage, as if a small percentage is
You
acceptable.
don't even understand the long-term side effects.
But it's
or
like
anything.
a lot of people are long haul COVID sick.
I want to be able to do big vacations and go back down to Mexico. I want to be able to go over to, Ireland. I want to go diving. I want to go swimming. I want to see things I've never seen before, and I want to be able to hold my breath for as long as I can.
Yeah, he's gotten really good at his breath hold. He's not
Getting
even
better.
practicing. It's just from being underwater, taking photos
Yeah.
and stuff. And like I said, we've been looking at homes. So we looked at a house this weekend, which was really nice. And they're gonna put a soaker tub in, which would be. I always tell Sean, like, if we ever buy a house, if it doesn't already have like a nice big clawfoot tub, I would just like to spend the money
It'd be
and
super
put one
cool
in.
to have a nice big
Right?
tub, yeah.
Because what's an extra couple grand for a tub that you're going to love for the rest of your life?
Plus, it's good for photos.
I spend a lot of time in the tub. People who follow me on Instagram get a lot of tub and bed selfies.
Yep.
Like Ricky Gervais is always in his
I'm
bathtub
hilarious.
too.
So does cats.
Do you guys know that Ricky Gervais likes Charlie? We
Yeah.
talked once on Twitter, and when I post pictures of Charlie, he likes them.
Yeah.
So he's really nice. And do you ever see he did a hilarious? He always does these funny bathtub selfies, and he did one dressed as the Little Mermaid. So
Which was amazing.
he was a very ugly Little Mermaid. God love him, but it was really funny if you Google that. So, anyway, we've been an hour, and I think that's long enough. I'm really thankful. I think the most people we had in here was about 20. So we're getting up there, which is nice.
No, and plus, it didn't go as scheduled, so it was just we're super happy people
thank
made
you
it.
so much for like following through. I'm really sorry for everyone who got confused with the different links. It's just
We keep getting new gear, and it's messing things up, but we'll have a consistent format down in no
also
time.
thank you from the Patreons because that is where this microphone came from.
And this pumpkin. Well, not the pumpkin, actually. I got that.
But no, we were able to buy this on Prime Day at a really great. I think I only got it for $75, which was like half off. So, so thank you to the Patreons, and we love it. It's great. Kristen, it's funny you said that about secret rooms. He said, wouldn't it be cool if you could have secret rooms in your house? The one that we looked at for possibly renting had all these little secret panels for like storing stuff. So I didn't realize houses were still built that way, and it's but it wasn't new. How old was it?
Oh, World War II.
It was a World War II house. So older houses have those little nooks and crannies, right? So I love it. A secret mermaid cove. That's right. So yeah, thank you so much for checking. If you're new and you're not subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. Check us out on patreon.com/RainaMermaid. And as always, please feel free to use our Mertailor and Slip-ins code, which is Raina10, all caps. We get a little bit of a commission on that, and we're able to use that money to keep running Halifax Mermaids and to pay the bills and keep making cool content. So we really appreciate it. Thank you, Patreons, for the microphone. Hopefully this will make a good difference. We're researching into podcasting. Would you be interested in a maritime themed podcast? So it'd be merfolk, but also like other water stuff too, because I think people would be interested. There's a lot of really cool people in Nova Scotia we could interview. So
yep.
Yes. Right. Yes, you do look like Zorro or Batman. Okay, good night, everybody, and join us on Patreon if you want to watch Beetlejuice with us.
Yep. Happy Halloween.
Best wishes.
Oh, I dropped it.
I feel like I should just keep letting the video go to watch Sean drop stuff.
Wait, I could put the thing on and then.
Yeah, there you go. Give him a mask.
Happy Halloween!